In this video, we will cover creating parameters with the correct discipline and data type, and recognizing use cases for the available types. When creating parameters, it is critical that they are assigned to the correct discipline and data type. This will affect the functionality of the parameter as well as the available units. Before we jump into creating parameters, let's take a look at the project units. On the Manage ribbon, in the Settings panel, click Project Units. In the Project Units dialog, there's a discipline drop-down at the top. These are the disciplines that will be available when creating a parameter. Select Electrical. When you select a discipline, you can see the available data types. These will also be available when creating a parameter. Scroll down to Power and then click the button in the Format field. In the Format dialog, you can control the units for the data type. I'll leave power set to watts. You can then control the rounding and the unit symbol. Click OK to close each of the dialogs. Next, in the project browser, scroll down to Schedules Quantities and open the lighting fixture schedule. In this schedule, you can see several parameters that have been added, and some of them have units. In the Properties palette, click Edit next to Formatting. In the Fields list, select Voltage, and then click Field Format. This also opens the Format dialog, and you can choose whether or not to use project settings. If you want to change the units used, you can deselect Use Project Settings and then control the units. For this example, I'll click Cancel, and then I'll select Maximum Wattage and click Field Format again. When you deselect Use Project Settings, you can see that the Units drop-down is not available. That's because for maximum wattage, the only units that's available is watts. So the units that are available vary for the various data types. And as you use Revit more and more, you'll become more familiar with the units that are available. I'll click Cancel to close each of these dialogs and then switch back to the floor plan view. On the Manage ribbon, in the Settings panel, click Project Parameters. To create a new project parameter, click Add. In the Parameter Properties dialog, you can go through the process of creating a new project parameter. As you can see, two of the options here are Discipline and Type of Parameter. For this example, let's create a parameter called Weight for the electrical equipment. In the Discipline drop-down, you can see the same options that we saw in the project units. I'll select Common and then expand the Type of Parameter drop-down. These are the same data types that were available in the project units. For Weight, you could select Number, but then we'd simply just have a number parameter for the weight. So we could also expand the Discipline drop-down and select Structural, and then expand the Type of Parameter drop-down and select Weight. Now we will be able to use the weight units for this parameter. For the group parameter under, I will select General, and then in the Categories list, I will select Electrical Equipment. And then I'll click OK to create the project parameter, and I'll click OK to close the Project Parameters dialog. When I go back to the project units and take a look at the structural data types, we can see that for the weight parameter, the units are pounds force. Whereas if we look at common, you can see that the number parameter is not there because it's simply a number, so there's no units assigned to the number parameter. I'll click Cancel, and then I'll select the transformer. And then in the Properties palette, I'll scroll down to the General Parameters, and you can see the weight parameter that we added. Next, I'll select a lighting fixture, and then click Edit Family in the contextual ribbon. When working in a family, you can also add parameters. On the Create ribbon in the Properties panel, click Family Types. In the Family Types dialog, you can see all of the parameters that have been added. To create a new parameter, click New Parameter. As you can see, creating family parameters is very similar to creating project parameters, with the two critical settings of the discipline and the type of parameter. I'll click Cancel to close this dialog, and we'll take a look at some of the existing parameters. I'll scroll up and select a parent load, and then click Edit Parameter. As you can see, this is a built-in parameter as indicated by the parameter type. And under parameter data, you can see the discipline and type of parameter. I'll click Cancel, and then when I scroll up, we'll take a look at the voltage parameter. And when I click Edit Parameter, you can see that this is a shared parameter, and the discipline is electrical, and the type of parameter is electrical potential. Be aware that there may be multiple shared parameters with the same name added to a family. When you have something like this, it's probably because somebody's grabbing families from multiple locations and they each have different shared parameters. And so you have to be aware of that. So just to summarize, when creating parameters, the discipline and data type are critical, especially for controlling the units that will be available for the parameters.